You'll never inspire others if you're still stuck in your own excuses. Let's get brutally honest here. Nobody is motivated by somebody who's mastered the art of making excuses. If you're stuck in the same cycle of it, of I can't, I'll start next week, I need to get my life together first, then you're not leading, you're stalling. And worse, you're becoming the very thing that you claim you don't want to be. Someone who talks but never acts. It's time to call it what it is. Call it out. If you want to be an example for your kids, your friends, your clients, your team, yourself, then your excuses cannot sit at the head of your table anymore. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Bulletproof Mindset podcast, where we face our failures head on. Our own past, we own it and use it to build an unbreakable future. I'm Thomas. I'm a certified high performance coach, a former actor, a writer, an author, a director, and a twice divorced dad of daughters. I am just every single day learning how to love this life better. And I'm bringing you along for the ride. Okay, so today's topic, it's a truth that might sting a little bit. You'll never inspire others if you're still stuck in your own excuses. It's time to stop waiting for permission. Let's break through that self-imposed barrier that's holding you back from the life you say you want. Let's make this clear again. You cannot inspire anyone, including yourself, if you're stuck making excuses for why your life isn't where you want it to be. And we've all seen this. The guy who preaches discipline but skips the gym every week. The entrepreneur who keeps planning but never launches. The parent who tells their kids to chase your dreams, sweetheart, but they stay stuck in the job they hate. And worse, you've seen it in yourself. As Brendan Burchard says in his book, High Performance Habits, he says this: the time to have the map is before you enter the woods. Listen, you don't have to wait until you feel ready to start leading. You lead while you're still figuring it out. Think about it. If you want your kids to be courageous, do they need to see a perfect parent? Absolutely not. What they need is to see a parent who stumbles, owns their mistakes, and still moves forward. Excuses aren't just holding you back. They are holding back everyone who looks up to you. Let's talk consequences for a minute. If you don't own your excuses and break the cycle, you're going to lose respect. People notice when your actions don't match your words. Your dreams, they stay out of reach. Every excuse is a wall between you and the goal that you have. And you're going to become the example of what not to do. I mean, who wants to be that example? Instead of inspiring others, you become the cautionary tale they tell. Take Chris. Chris was a motivational speaker. He's good looking, great stage presence, smooth delivery every single time. He'd tell his audiences, discipline is the key to success. But behind the scenes, Chris was skipping workouts, eating like crap, and making excuses for why he wasn't sticking to his own advice. And people noticed. His credibility tanked. His message felt hollow. His bookings dropped. He had two choices. At this crossroads, he had two choices. Keep making excuses and become irrelevant, or own his failure and become the example. Chris chose ownership. He hired a trainer. He fixed his diet. He showed up for his audience with the real struggle that he was going through and shared it with them. And in doing so, he built trust stronger than he even had it before. His words mattered again. Why? Because he was living them. Hear me. You cannot preach what you do not practice. Well, you can, but people will see through that facade because people follow authentic action, not empty advice. Hey, it's Thomas, and if this episode resonates with you, I want to make sure you know about our free community, Becoming Bulletproof. It's a free community built for people just like you, people that feel stuck in the shadow of past failure or struggling just to move forward after setbacks and challenges in life. Maybe you've struggled to find a place where you can finally reclaim your identity or rebuild the confidence you've lost or find that resilience to thrive. This isn't just a community group. This is meant to be a movement, a transformative space where men and women can redefine who they are and break free from those limiting beliefs and develop habits and skills necessary to create the life they love. In Becoming Bulletproof, you're going to discover how to turn pain into power and setbacks into stepping stones. You'll find tools to build emotional resilience and clarity and confidence, even practical strategies for setting boundaries and mastering time management. I mean, who doesn't need that? Forming habits that fuel long-term growth? Bring it. Most importantly, you're going to find a community that's got your back. Every step of the way, we're going to share stories and celebrate wins together, hold each other up when we need that support to move forward. So, if you're ready to stop letting your past define who you are today and start living that creation of a future you deserve, well, this is your moment. This is your step. Join Becoming Bulletproof today. It's free and it's waiting for you. So go to becomingbulletproof.info right now and sign up for that free community. Let's do this. Together we can become bulletproof. Join today. Everybody, I've been where you are. I have been there. After my second divorce, I wanted to be a better dad, a stronger role model for both of my daughters. But I kept telling myself, I don't have time. I'll start when I feel more in control. I've already been through enough. I need a break. And you know what the hard truth was for me is that those excuses weren't just hurting me in those moments. They were holding my daughters back from seeing what the real resilience can look like. One night, my daughter Livy asked me, "Daddy, are you happy?" I froze. Because the truth was I wasn't. I was stuck. I was pretending to be too busy to deal with the real work of rebuilding my life. And that night, I made a decision. No more waiting, no more excuses, no more time wasted. I started small. I woke up earlier. I set real goals for my day. I started keeping promises to myself. I stopped letting the past define my present, much less my future. It was important for me in those early days of making that decision. I wanted to be awake and alert and energetic and prepped when my daughters entered the house, waking up themselves. And you know what happened? They saw it. They watched my transformation and they changed because of it. Listen to me. If your kids, your team, your friends, they don't need a perfect version of you. I know that you are sitting here on this podcast and you are telling yourself, I need to be better. I need to be more perfect. They deserve it. I am trying to carry this load of responsibility of perfection. Well, listen to me very carefully. Perfection is the assassin of transformation. The people in your life don't need the perfect version of you. They just need to see you trying. So, I'm going to share 3 points with you about how to stop allowing this block to move you forward into a greater influence in your life and leadership. Okay. Point number 1, excuses erode credibility. John Maxwell says that people follow those who are real, not perfect. And I think it's very true. Think of the influencer who talks about productivity but never hits a deadline. Their followers see it. You've probably been here. And guys, I'll be honest, I have. Hey, everybody, want to come on here and I want to announce that I'm going to be going live next Tuesday night. And Tuesday night comes and goes and there's no live. Your followers see that. Their credibility is gone in an instant. But the moment they own their flaws and start delivering, well, engagement, trust, real impact skyrockets. I'm going to share real quickly how this has impacted me. Just this past week, I created a training for my private community on the cost of holding on to past pain. And I had advertised it. I prepped it. It had visuals. I was really excited about it. And I even tested the tech behind the scenes, and the time came and I was struggling because some part of the tech wasn't working. And it took me 25 minutes to get on to the actual live broadcast. And once I got on the live broadcast, guess what happened? My mic was muted. For 35 minutes, they saw a picture of me moving my mouth and no sound. This is just this last week. So what did I do? Immediately, I decided, well, I'm going to have to do this again because this is too important a training and I want to get this to my free community. So I'm going to tell them I'm going to try again. So I shared a video immediately in the group and just kind of fell on my sword. I owned up for it because, it was a mistake I made in not attending to one of those technical details, and that mistake actually impacted my community. So I owned it. Tried it again this past weekend, and it worked off just fine. The engagement in those 2 days grew my audience, grew my group, grew my community by 35%. Owning your mistakes builds that credibility. Point 2, ownership also inspires trust. You can't change what you refuse to take responsibility for. That's again, Brendan Burchard in The Charge. You can't. You want to try and refuse responsibility and expect change to happen. It's not going to be a fun trip for you. Anna, a project manager, used to blame her team for missed deadlines. Has anybody ever worked for a manager like this? When she finally admitted her own mistakes and took charge, her team did rally behind her. Productivity started to soar. Leadership starts with ownership. Leadership starts with owning the responsibility for the entire team's performance. When your team is not performing, you're responsible. You might not be to blame. You might not be the reason why it's not performing, but you're responsible. Own it. It's the only way you'll move forward and through that. Point number 3, leading by example drives change. Gandhi has a very famous quote that you've probably heard a million times. He says this: be the change you wish to see in the world. When I prioritized my own health without preaching, guess what happened? My daughters followed. They wanted to see themselves in that same transformational process. And no, they didn't need to drop a lot of weight, and no, their health wasn't declining like mine was. But they saw me making an effort, and they saw what the effort was doing in my life. And they wanted that. People don't change because you tell them to. They change because you show them how. So enough talk. Let's get real for just a second. You're either moving forward or you're making mistakes. and excuses. You're either setting an example or you're becoming the cautionary tale. You don't wait for motivation. Motivation is not something that's just a switch gets flipped and all of a sudden you have it, or all of a sudden you don't. You build it through action. So the next time that you hear yourself say, I'm too tired, I'll do it later, I don't feel ready, stop yourself in your tracks. Stop yourself when you say those things. Do it anyway. Because guess what? The people who succeed don't feel like it every day, but they do it. They just act. Do you know what separates the successful person from the person that's considered a failure? There's only one thing. Both of them could be equally educated, equally trained. The knowledge, the practice, all of those things are equal. They could have equal resources, equal opportunities. The one thing that separates the person who's successful from the person who isn't is this. The person that succeeded got up one more time after falling down. They just act. So, right now, get up. Get off your ass. Get off that couch of blame and victimization and pain and betrayal or whatever it is that's got you stuck, and move. Do one thing, just one thing that proves you're done with excuses. It starts with yourself. Get up today and take that one step. If this episode hit home, I want to invite you to grab your free copy of the Bulletproof Mindset. It's our free ebook. You can find the Bulletproof Mindset at becomingbulletproof.info/resources. There's also other resources there. That's where you can join our free community. That's where you can also subscribe to this podcast, and you can book a breakthrough call with one of our coaches to talk about these things. If you're really stuck and you're needing some expert advice, that's what we do. All of those free resources are listed at becomingbulletproof.info/resources. In this book, you're going to find several things to help you along. It'll help you break free from the excuses. It'll help you build real discipline. It'll help you start leading with action, not just words. And while you're at it, you can take a look at the other things that we're not covering in this podcast episode, but are very relevant to building that bulletproof life. Okay. Don't forget to also follow us and share our Instagram and our YouTube channels. And that is this bulletproof life, because becoming bulletproof is a process that we're going through every day. The bulletproof mindset is one piece in that puzzle. So remember, you'll never inspire others if you're still stuck in your own excuses. Make this your wake-up call. Stop waiting, start moving. And you'll never know how quickly that confidence and that courage and that productivity starts to take over. It starts with one step. Take that step today. Until next time, stay strong, stay honest, and above all, stay bulletproof. Have a great day, everybody.